Welcome to the Uncommon Transformation television series.
Akwa Ibom, ayayao. Sinyana barasone ki songe mananye. Akwa Ibom ojit, ayayao, ayayao.
You are welcome to Akwa Ibom State, the land of uncommon transformation. Come and join us, live amongst us, and invest, and you will not regret. I welcome you.
Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us today. You are hooked onto the Uncommon Transformation TV series, always bringing you first-hand information on the revolutionary trend in Akwa Ibom State. Series of events in the week gone by have proven that Akwa Ibom State, under the able watch of Governor Godswill Akpabio, is on the rock-steady path of achieving her dreams of economic stability and a destination of choice in Nigeria. A quick look at our package today continues to unveil the visit of the French Consul-General, Mr. Francois Sastourne, who describes Akwa Ibom as transformation extraordinaire, who saw the Senate President David Mark, who said he has never stopped being amazed at the rate of development and speed and transformation he sees each time he visits Akwa Ibom State, plus the swearing in of the new Secretary of State government. And not forgetting, the federal government coming into sight a 72,000 capacity cassava processing mill. Wow! All this and lots more is what we're going to find in our packet today. I am Methlin Mbom. Happy viewing.
The fact that Akwa Ibom State government under Godswill Akpabio is a model of transformation and a destination of choice in Nigeria is history. What is now news is that the administration is reverberating and has continued to attract high-profile personalities and events to the state to take advantage of the life-changing opportunities it has to offer. In the last few days, a galaxy of activities has taken place to vulcanize the uncommon transformation agenda of the government. First, it was the visit of the French Consul-General, Mr. Francois Sastourne. Senate press corps retreat was next, followed by swearing in of a new secretary to state government. The agric sector in the state equally got a boost with the federal government's announcement of the siting of a cassava processing mill with a capacity of 72,000 metric tons to produce high-quality cassava flour. Change is said to be the only constant thing in life. So, for the government and the good people of Akwa Ibom State, change is a vital ingredient of their everyday existence since 2007, when Akpabio became governor. It would be recalled that Governor Akpabio said in his inaugural address to the people, "This is your governor reporting for duty. Your lives can never remain the same again." This was a promise of change. The people did not accept that change just for the sake of change, but positive change that brought about a radical transformation in both mental and physical infrastructure of the people, a renewal of their minds that has taken them from the transit stage of to be to that of prosperous to become. The result of this change is the revolution in infrastructure that saw a beautiful network of quality roads, construction of flyovers, and the building of bridges to prosperity, the building of an international airport, an e-library, declaration of free and compulsory education that has seen school enrollment triple since implementation of the policy, phenomenal growth in the tourism industry, provision of sports facilities, better security, decent living environment, an increase in self-worth and belief, relevance in national polity, and many other gains that may be difficult to quantify. The promise of change entails the alignment and realignment of ideas, philosophies, officers, and even key government personnel, when and if the need arises to meet the challenges, yearnings, and expectations of the ever-critical and growing sophistication of the new Akwa Ibom society. That promise of change and Akpabio's quest to reposition his administration for optimal service delivery snowballed into the appointment of a new secretary to state government. Until now, the office was occupied for 6.5 years by Mr. Umana Kunumana. Udom Gabriel Emmanuel is the new man in charge. Until his appointment, he was executive director, Zenith Bank PLC. Akpabio's action was a clear indication that the good of Akwa Ibom comes first, and it is also the centerpiece of his administration's policy.
I, Mr. Udom Gabriel Emmanuel, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that as Secretary to the Government of Akwa Ibom State, I will discharge my duties to the best of my ability.
Governor Akpabio, who described the happenings as vulcanization of the polity, asked the people to accept change.
We must accept changes now and then in the road towards total transformation. So today, as we witness a change in the office of the Secretary to Government of Akwa Ibom State, we must remember that change is a fact of life and necessary to sustain the momentum of what we are doing.
Akpabio was full of thanks and praises for his ex-SSG, who he described as a brother.
We must begin by thanking the immediate past Secretary to the Government, for his meritorious services to our guests. The government and the good people of Akwa Ibom State acknowledge with gratitude his dedication to service throughout the period he served for 6 years. Mr. Mana, to me, is a brother and not just a friend, and he has displayed exceptional competence in the discharge of his duties and contributed significantly right from the days of the former governor of the state, Obon Vichota, to what we are now seeing as uncommon transformation of our dear state.
The governor said the growth and development of Akwa Ibom people is not negotiable and needed the support of everybody to build a destination of choice.
Administration represents an idea which is far bigger than our mortal selves. That idea is that together we can build on the dreams of our forefathers. A state which will become, in my view, a paragon of promise for Africa and the black race. It can happen. United Arab Emirates started like us.
The governor told the large crowd who turned up at the banquet hall to witness the swearing-in of the new SSG that he, Udom, joined his administration at a time he described as injury time and cannot therefore afford to make mistakes.
So, Udo Emmanuel, you must imbibe our agenda instantly and run with it. You have no time to make mistakes and learn from such mistakes because you are joining an administration at a time we are in injury time.
The governor gives a timely warning.
It's also an office that is different from the one you knew. It's an office that is full of blackmail, character assassination, an office that sometimes people come with confusion in their pockets. They come with requests in their mouth and drop confusion on their desk. It is an office which has no local government area.
One of the biggest lessons of this change was that it was without bitterness or rancor, an indication of unity among Akwa Ibom people, a lesson the larger Nigeria can learn from. The old and the new shook hands and hugged. What other lesson can be taken home from this event?
We must integrate the best of the best, whether they are in the diaspora, whether they are in Ibadan, whether they are in Lagos, so long as you have the blood of Akwa Ibom. Wherever the time comes, we have a right to call on you to come and join us and send your father.
The visit of the French Consul-General, Francois Sastourne, was an eye-opener as he described Akwa Ibom as a forward-thinking society and more developed than most states in Nigeria. It was heartwarming when he revealed that his home government was interested in partnering with Akwa Ibom, especially in education and the promotion of the learning of French language. On a tour of the e-library, led by Deputy Governor Her Honor Valerie Ebe, the Consul-General was impressed with the facility. He was treated to music and oratory skills in French by Akwa Ibom children.
Oui, jeune homme, il ne faut plus voyager ailleurs pour gagner la vie. Notre État est devenu un paradis, une destination pour l'éjection et les touristes.
Governor Akpabio, who was represented by the Deputy Governor, Lady Valerie Ebe, said French language is important to the socio-economic development of Nigeria, as the nation is bounded by French-speaking nations. Same sentiment was echoed by the Commissioner for Education and the Director, French Language Center, Mr. Umoren Daniel. Responding, Mr. Sastourne described Akwa Ibom as transformation extraordinary, noting that he was well-traveled and he has not seen anything like the e-library.
I'm very happy to the land of transformation extraordinaire. This is what I would say. I think in English it sounds like a transformation extraordinaire. In a few hours, I arrived just about 24 hours ago, as was said, by boat from Calabar. So we had a very good entrance into the state. In a few hours, I've seen a city that has obviously undergone an extraordinary transformation recently. It is obvious in a few hours. Just a few hours. You see the streets, you see the shops. It jumps to the eye, as we say in French. Today, we are here in an e-library, which is also impressive. As I was telling the Deputy Governor and the Commissioners, I have not seen anything like this in my whole career. I have been to several countries in Africa and in Asia mostly, and in the very rapidly developing Asia. I have not seen something like this. It is a very big investment. It is a very important investment, and therefore it must be commended for that.
He said his own government is looking at ways of being part of the extraordinary transformation taking place here. For this reason, he was accompanied on the tour by captains of French business concerns. At a gala organized in his honor, the governor, Chief Akpabio, said the visit was divine as it would afford the French first-hand knowledge of what his administration is doing, as there are areas of mutual interest and benefits between both governments.
We want cooperation in the area of health. We are building first-class international hospital at Ghana. And that hospital, I understand, is even larger and probably bigger in size than the national hospital. Well, one could ask, why should the state undertake such a venture? Because we want to be the leading light towards Nigeria's greatness. We believe Nigeria will be great, so we are preparing for that day. Outside that, of course, I mentioned other areas of cooperation, talking about the deep sea port, maintenance repair and overhaul facility at the airport, and the need for us to have a second operator coming in to run our second 5-star hotel. As I speak now, your people are already at the Lomedian Golf Resort. They came from France, and we have a 20-year contract with them. Well, we are now building a 15-story second 5-star hotel, which should be operational next year. If we decide not to go with Hilton, we can even call that one Sheraton. Your Sheraton hotel. I'm sure my people will still accept it. So no matter the service is first class. Am I right? That's what we are talking. There are areas of cooperation in agriculture. We are now going to be designated as what they call perishable goods international airport by the Ministry of Aviation. That arrangement has been concluded. Just a few things for us to add. We are adding the taxiway, which would also operate as a parallel runway. And we are going to add a brand new international terminal. We are finishing the foundation, the fabricated electrically as I speak. And then we add the underground fuel storage facility. And then we are ready to go totally international. It is my belief that under my administration, which has less than 2 years to go, we should have international flights from New all the way to Dubai and back to Europe.
The ambassador said his country is interested in education, as without it, no country can develop.
You mentioned a few domains in which we could cooperate and in which you would like us to intervene. One is education. I mentioned education earlier, and we will be very pleased and happy to be able to cooperate with the state of Akwa Ibom in this field.
The Senate Press Corps was also in town to savor the uncommon transformation they have been hearing about as they held a 2-day retreat in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital. Senate President David Mark, who was the guest of honor, described Akpabio in glowing terms, noting that each time he came to Akwa Ibom, he was amazed at the speed of transformation.
I've been here a couple of times, and every time I come back, I always get confused because of the speed of development and the changes that take place.
According to him, what we lack in Nigeria is political will to reach the people. But Akpabio has demonstrated that he was a different man.
It's impossible to come to Akwa Ibom State and go away without making the statement that God's will be done in Akwa Ibom State. I have been here a couple of times. Last year, the Senate retreat was here. And we went round, the senators went round in buses to see the level of development. And it's unbelievable that a young man like the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio, could have the political will, the courage, and the vision to do what he has done in the span of time that he's been the governor of Akwa Ibom State. Truly, I think Abbas is working here. There's no doubt about that. What we lack most in this country is not just the vision, but the political will and the courage to execute even the things that we initiate ourselves. But here is a young man who has completely closed his eyes and ears to distractions and had a focus, and he has worked on that focus for the period that he's been a governor here. And I think that the people of Akwa Ibom State must thank their God that God has given them a leader who has a heart and who has the interests of the people in his heart.
On his part, Governor Godswill Akpabio described Mark as an excellent administrator and an embodiment of humility.
The Civil Senator, David Mark, you are an epitome of humility. Your simplicity is disarming. You are also an excellent administrator. There is no way anybody will not be your follower.
Chairman of the occasion and Commissioner for Information, Akwa Ibom State, Anyeka Nomana, while addressing members of the Senate Press Corps, informed them that Governor Akpabio's administration is good governance personified.
You are in a beautiful land. You are in a land where government is working for the people, and the people are very excited that government is working for them.
Taking time off their retreat and going on tour of facilities, members of the Senate Press Corps saw for themselves the transformation taking place in the state. Their response was interesting.
What is happening in Akwa Ibom is aptly captured in that philosophy, Akpabioism. And I want to tell you that in the not too distant time, it will be seen as a system of government where the people come first. I don't need to tell you about the quality of the projects. It's better that people come and see.
I am seeing a man who has a dream and a vision. He is a widely traveled man who is seeing development in its true sense outside the country and is replicating the development at the local level.
They were not done yet, as they noted that they can see things on ground and not media propaganda. In agriculture, one area Governor Akpabio has championed lots of initiatives to ensure food sufficiency and empowerment is yielding dividends, as the federal government is set to take advantage of the thriving sector to cite a cassava processing industry in Akwa Ibom State. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Akinyumi Adeshina, was in town to flag off pro-vitamin A-rich cassava.
Your Excellency, I heard so much about Akwa Ibom State, so I came to see it myself. On arrival, I took a very good tour of Uyo with your Honorable Commissioner of Agriculture. Your Excellency, I am very impressed. Undergoing major transformation. I think Your Excellency likes to call it uncommon transformation. Due to your leadership, your commitment and passion to drive change. I am very impressed with your leadership, my dear brother, Your Excellency Godswill Akpabio. I have great admiration for your leadership style, one that focuses on improving the welfare of your people. You took a state and turned it into a modern state with massive investment in education, health facilities. In fact, I told him when I paid His Excellency just a courtesy call a while ago, but as an agricultural scientist, the best way in which I can explain what is on here in Akwa Ibom State is what I call metamorphosis. And the reason is that the metamorphosis, you don't remember what it used to look like. And I think I was explaining to His Excellency in the car. I don't think anybody will remember what you used to do to me.
Governor Akpabio commended the federal government for considering Akwa Ibom worthy of this honor, assuring the federal government of his administration's full cooperation. Akwa Ibom, no doubt, is set to expand her frontiers of friendship and business opportunities. The people call it uncommon transformation.
Uncommon Transformation television series brings to you the latest information of the monumental achievements of the Governor Akpabio-led administration. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube to read the latest news, watch amazing videos and listen to in-depth analyses and interviews with the men and women working hand